Welcome, I'm Sustainable Weight Loss Coach Stavros, and today I will talk to you about how habits affect our lives. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a 27-year veteran of the weight loss field and the creator of the Simple Way to Vibrant Health system. Before I get into how habits affect our lives, let me explain how habits work in the first place. Habits are like programs that your subconscious mind runs that you might not even be aware that they're running. Did you know that according to neuroscientists, around 95% of your day is run by habitual behaviors? Only 5% of your day is run by conscious decisions. The reason for that is very simple. According to Bruce Lipton, a biologist and the author of Biology of Belief, and by the way, is one of my favorite books, your subconscious mind can process something like 40 million bits of environmental stimuli per second, whereas your conscious mind can only process 40 bits of environmental stimuli per second. In other words, your subconscious mind can perform thousands of tasks all at once, whereas your conscious mind can only do one thing at a time. Since your subconscious mind can perform thousands of tasks all at once and your conscious mind is very limited, it would make sense for the body to give all the repetitive tasks over to the subconscious mind. So your conscious mind with its limited capabilities can be free to focus on the more fun stuff in life. Think of your subconscious mind as the autopilot in an airplane. The autopilot is designed to take most of the mental loads of actually flying the plane off the pilots. By having the autopilot actually flying the plane, it makes the pilot's job much easier, more enjoyable, and much safer. All the pilots have to do is monitor the systems to make sure all the systems are working correctly, and also, of course, to make sure they're still flying in the right direction. The subconscious mind works the same way. By taking over many of our repetitive tasks of our everyday lives, it frees up our conscious mind to focus on the more important stuff. Let me give you an example. Do you remember when you first learned how to drive a car? It required your full attention. You couldn't answer your phone, you couldn't change the radio station, you couldn't even have a serious conversation. Why? It was because your conscious mind was too busy trying to drive the car safely. After driving for a year, what happened? Now you can drive while talking on the phone, changing radio stations, and even having a serious conversation, no problem. How come? You can do all that now because most of the tasks that are required to drive the car safely, through repetition, we're able to train your subconscious mind to take over, which freed up your conscious mind to do other things. Basically, the conscious mind is your manual control and your subconscious mind is your autopilot. Since 95% of your day is run by your habits have a huge impact on your life. And that is why it's extremely important that you have the right habits that will help you get to where you want to go. The problem with the subconscious mind is that whatever program it learns, it just repeats, even if it's not in your best interest. You see, the subconscious mind does not judge the programming. It simply follows the program you put in. So once the subconscious mind accepts a program, it just repeats it with no judgment if it's good or bad. The problem is that many of the programs, or in other words, habits that your subconscious mind runs, you did not put them there. We learn them as kids from our parents, TV, the people we hang around with, and so on. By the way, this is one of the main reasons why overweight parents usually have overweight kids. It's not the genes that got the kids overweight, it's the habits they picked up by watching their parents. Anyway, the point is that many of the habits we have, we did not put them there, and they don't serve us. The good news is that you can change those habits with a little practice. The problem many times is that we are not aware of many of our habitual behaviors. Has anyone ever told you that you act like your mother or your father, but you could not see that? That is because many of your behaviors, which you have obviously picked up from your parents, you're not aware of that you engage in them. And that is because your subconscious mind plays those habits every time your conscious mind is busy doing other things. So how can you tell what kind of habitual behaviors do you engage in if you're not even aware of them? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Just look at your life. Where you are today is the sum of all your habitual behaviors. So if you're overweight and out of shape, That means you engage in too many unhealthy behaviors that cause you to gain weight and ruin your health. Now, could you force yourself to eat right and exercise through motivation and willpower without worrying about changing your habits? Of course you could, and this is what most people do. But here is the problem with forcing change through motivation and willpower. Willpower and motivation requires you to engage your conscious mind, and they never last. As I explained earlier, the problem with the conscious mind is that it can only do one thing at a time. For example, if eating healthy is not a habitual behavior and you need to use motivation and willpower to eat healthy, you can only do that by engaging your conscious mind. If your conscious mind is busy making sure that you're eating the right food or the right amount of food, guess what your conscious mind is not doing? It's not enjoying the meal as much. Remember, the conscious mind can only do one thing at a time. Basically, the more you have to focus on everything you must do in order to be lean and healthy, the less you will be able to focus on simply enjoying life, and that almost always leads to burnout. Have you ever heard of I've heard of many people tell me that what is the point of being lean and healthy but miserable? I'd rather be fat and happy than fit and unhappy. I can't say I blame people for having that attitude, but what if you could be fit and happy? Is that even possible? Let me ask you a question. If, let's say, you were the pilot of an airplane, let's say a Boeing 777, and you were scheduled to fly to Hawaii, but as soon as you took off, you noticed that the plane was going the wrong direction because someone had programmed the autopilot to take you somewhere else. What would make more sense? Just grab the control wheel and turn the plane in the direction you want to go, and every time you let go of the control wheel, the autopilot engages and turns the plane in the wrong direction again? Or would it make more sense to take the time and reprogram the autopilot so even when you're not controlling the plane's still going the right direction? Obviously, it would make more sense to simply reprogram the autopilot. The reason most people struggle to keep the weight off is because of the way most weight loss programs approach weight loss. They don't help people change the programs in their autopilot. In other words, they don't help people change their habits. Instead, they rely on willpower and motivation for you to do all the right things. As I explained earlier, the problem with willpower and motivation is that it takes a lot of conscious effort. And as I explained, the conscious mind can only do one thing at a time. So if you're too busy paying attention to your diet and fitness program, you're not focusing as much on the fun stuff in life. And that almost always leads to burnout. Basically, the way most weight loss programs approach weight loss, if I were to stick with the airplane analogy, it would be like ignoring the autopilot that is programmed to go where you don't want to go and simply grabbing the control wheel and force the plane to fly where you want it to go. And every time you get tired and you let go the control wheel, the autopilot turns you in the direction it's programmed to take you, which is the wrong direction. This, of course, makes no sense, and nobody in the right mind would do that. The only way sustainable weight loss without struggle can be achieved is by changing the habits that got you out of shape in the first place and program new healthy ones in their place. Obviously, some motivation is required initially to force yourself to engage in the healthy behaviors you want to make habitual. The key is to make the new behaviors habitual before you run out of motivation. To greatly improve your chances of making a new behavior habitual before you run out of willpower and motivation is to work on only one new behavior at a time. The reason for that is because the more behaviors you try to change at once, the longer it would take you to make those behaviors habitual, and the greater chance you have of running out of willpower and motivation before those behaviors have a chance of becoming habitual. This is why when it comes to changing habits, I strongly recommend that you work on only one habit at a time. For those of you who want to change all their bad habits at once so you can lose weight fast, here's my question. What is the point of losing weight fast if you're going to regain all the weight back? Won't you rather take a little extra time and lose the weight the sustainable way and never have to worry about your weight again? So here's a quick recap. Your habits don't just make some difference in your health and weight, they make all the difference because they run 95% of your day. Best way to change your habits is to work on changing one habit at a time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, hit the like button to let me know that you enjoyed it. Comment below if you want me to cover something specific. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button below so you never miss a video. Also, I would greatly appreciate it if you share this video with your family and friends to help me spread the truth on how sustainable weight loss and good health can be achieved. Thank you.